It's Saturday morning here at Tom's Tourney in Brugge. We had a lovely day of Sun and Ultimate yesterday with the pools being played, and now we're getting to the business end of the tournament. We have Yaka versus London Masters Ultimate in the first game of their Powerpool. It's going to be a good one. We are in Brugge. The day is looking like it's either trying to be sunny or trying to rain. It hasn't quite decided yet. How are you feeling about this one, Rachel?
Yeah, I think this is a really exciting game to start the day here in the women's division. We have Yaka facing off against London Masters Ultimate, two incredibly experienced teams, two teams that have played against each other a lot, and some of these players have actually played together before. I think it's going to be a really exciting matchup of teams who know each other probably fairly well, and we're going to see some great athletic players, some skilled athletes. I
agree. Yaka starting on offense. Mondo fielding the pull. LMU playing a match defense. Yaka not quite moving the disc upfield yet, quite happy to move it between their handlers. Very experienced handlers they are. A disc comes through the middle with a lot of pressure from LMU. Disc moves to DeVille, sitting on the sideline, looking for an option upfield. Nothing quite coming for her just yet. They opt to reset again, almost out of reach, but reeled in nicely. DeVille with the disc again, moving forward now. Oh, but we have a little bit of a drop, a bit higher than expected. You'd hope people to reel that in. There wasn't a massive amount of defensive pressure there.
Yeah, it just seemed to pop out of her hands. I think that maybe is just the start of the day, just a little bit slow to get hands on disc, but hopefully they'll be able to adjust. LMU with the disc now.
LMU with the disc, yep, looking to play their hoe stack. We saw a bit of that yesterday. Disc goes over hands, but reeled in by another LMU player playing heads up. Almost on the end zone line now, knocking on the door. We get a line option, and the score. Gemma Thompson with the score. That's exactly what you want to see from your D-line. Generate a turn, put it in without too much trouble.
Yeah, I think that's something that we're going to see definitely in this game, certainly from LMU, and I'm sure from Yaka as well. Basically, if a mistake is made, they're going to immediately capitalise on it and be very clinical and make sure that they take that opportunity. Any opportunity that they're given, they're going to really maximise. So LMU doing really well there to just come in a little bit more focused maybe than Yaka managed. You know, first point of the first game of the day. Slightly slower to start, but I'm sure Yaka will adjust and hopefully they can come and sort of see if they can get a break back from LMU to get back on score.
No, I'm sure they can, but now they need to settle their O-line a little bit. First point of the game being a break and going LMU's way. Exactly how you want to start. Yaka are finished now, LMU vacating the pitch. Just waiting for the next pull. Some very, very experienced players on the LMU side. Some of them playing for in excess of 10 years at a very high level, isn't that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think 10 years might be at the lower end of their experience level, actually. They've got an incredibly deep line of incredibly talented players.
Yeah, Mondu distributing the disc there, another player with a lot of experience, a very high level experience indeed. Yaka moving really quickly, but an interception from Kate Ford. Read that play, was not that close to her match, but plucked the disc out. Disc goes deep, oh, but a little bit out of reach. Can't quite reel it in. Maybe a little bit of excitement there.
Yeah, I think that was a bit of a misread of maybe how far along that cut was, so that's a bit unfortunate for LMU, but Yaka back with a chance.
Yeah, it's a very still day here, so that wasn't really wind affected, it was more of an execution error. Mondu with the disc, distributing, a bit of a high swing, and oh! Kowalski gets up there and gets the D. That was a big height mismatch there to choose that option.
Yeah, very well read by LMU there to make sure that they got hands on that and took that aggressively.
So now LMU get another opportunity to put a second break in, almost the perfect start to this game. Set their hoe stack again. Option in the middle of the pitch is picked up really nicely by Gainey. Moving forward with Bevan. Getting a little bit messy. Handlers keeping the disc alive. See the option deep. Bevan going, double marked. A little bit of contact, but good defense from Yaka there.
Yeah, I think the Yaka defence took a great line there, made sure that they didn't give Bevan a clear line to the disc, and of course having two bodies underneath it on defence always helps.
That's very heads-up, good team play. We've got a Yaka player going deep, the disc goes up, and it's really nicely with a supporting runner, but options taken not to go for it. And Yaka pop it in nicely. That's Becca with the assist.
Yeah, nice calm play by Yaka there, I think. sort of coming back at LMU saying like, hey, we can do that too, we can be nice and calm, we can move the disc down the field, which of course LMU will know, but it's nice that Yaka's sort of able to come out after a couple errors, a couple slip-ups, a couple misreads, and sort of show them, get on the scoreboard and show them that this is going to be a game.
It is definitely going to be a game. That was very, very nice offense from Yaka there, coming from quite far up the field, a really, really good deep option, and in the end zone almost immediately. LMU now showing their offensive line for the first time. Let's see what they can do. Players vacating the pitch, just waiting for the pull to go up. Pull filing a bit wide. Looks like we're going to have a brick start. As an offensive line, you'd love to see a brick start. It gives you a chance to really utilise your set play. LMU opting for a side stack here, a bit different to how they've been playing on the D-line. Weddle sitting at the back of the stack, keeping a defender interested, keeping moving. First cut from Sharman. Doesn't get free under, looks to swing. Nothing happening quite yet. A bit of pressure, but Weddle gets the disc, puts it up, falls a bit short. Yaka pick it out of the air. Deban with the disc now, picking up that D. Up the line, moving forward. There's a deep receiver, and they holster it. Look to center. And now it goes. Can they reel it in? It's a bit long. Gets to the ground, but doesn't quite reel it in. Valet trying to get the disc there, getting money, giving everything for that, but a bit overthrown.
Yeah, I think Valet did a great job to try and get that disc and to recover that ground. I think that throw was maybe just pushing a little bit hard, and Valet did have her defender right on her shoulder, so that perhaps was like a slightly more aggressive shot than Yaka need to be taking at this stage in the game.
Yeah, and that's the second time we've seen a disc be overthrown like that, and as we said then, it's not a very windy day, it's quite still, so those are execution errors. LMU now with the disc, looking to play their host stack this time out of a more open start. Move the disc quite freely. Weddle coming under. Oh, really, really good pressure D. Coming through Valet. Well, we've got a call. Let's see if we can have another look at that.
Yeah, I think Weddle feels that she had position on that, and the Yaka defender had to maybe come through her arm to make that D. Hard to tell.
I think the Yaka player made up the distance and came through cleanly.
Well, I mean, she may have had a good line on it. I think that she was positioned well for that defense, but if there is contact, and it seems that Weddle did feel that there was contact on her arms, then unfortunately that does count as a foul. So it will just be up to the players on the field to really decide if it was sort of an acceptable level of contact and if it did impact Weddle catching that disc.
It did. Weddle does get her hands out early, and you can imagine a hand coming through and knocking those hands. But it is a tight one. I think we may well see a contested call here.
Uncontested.
Uncontested foul.
Yeah.
That's very well spirited from Yaka. I think they were in their rights to hold that.
Well, I think looking at the replay, I think Weddle did have the kind of the line on the disc, and that perhaps the Yaka player was having to reach round a little bit. So just great to see them able to resolve that and get on with the game.
Well, we're moving again quickly. Up the line option, the hut goes. 2 LMU players. It's reeled down by Thompson. Got options in the end zone and pops it out really nicely.
Yeah, great work by Thompson there to take that down. Sandwiched between 2 defenders, and I think we saw as she sort of caught it, she made sure that she had that in her hands. That was sort of a catch in the air and bring it down quite decisively. So great work by Thompson there to bring that in and able to pop that score in.
Great work from LMU. That came really quickly from quite a static start, moving very, very well together. You can see these players are used to playing with each other. They know what each other want, and it's really showing clearly here.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a team that have played together across different club teams and over years and years and years. So the chemistry and the depth of the chemistry on the LMU side is quite remarkable, and I think you really see that in their play and how they sort of the calmness and the clinical nature of their offense and their defense.
Indeed. So now it's 2-1 to LMU, starting the game off with a big break, starting exactly how they would like. Yaka looking to try and settle the ship a little bit. Their offense now waiting for the pull.
Yeah, I think Yaka have several more gears that they can turn up to. I think slightly slower start to the game for them, but absolutely I expect to see more and more as the game progresses and they get a little bit more into their groove.
Dual feed in the pull. Centered the disc. Yaka looking to play through a host stack. Lots of options coming for them under. They have a deep separation, but elected not to take it. Really nice shot into the middle of the pitch. At the brick line already. Oh, lovely, very tasty inside shot. That was beautiful.
Yeah, great look from Bass there. Really able to cut through the middle, see where the free player was, and put a very, very decisive, quick and clean shot right through that centre space. And that was well kind of jumped in by the receiver. So
yeah,
very nicely done.
Becca reeling that one in. That was a lovely inside shot, moving from one side of the pitch all the way to the other, and two really nice shots into the middle of the pitch. That's a nice strong offense. Yaka would be very happy with that.
I think that's what they're looking for right now. They want to sort of move the momentum back. I think LMU have come out and they've got and the first few points have been a little bit scrappy. We've seen a few turns, but LMU just able to sort of put them away. Yaka now sort of able to come back and say, this is also something that we're able to do. We're going to switch on. You know, we're not going to keep giving you these options. And any mistake on LMU's part will also be maximised. So
exactly. So this is LMU's second offensive point. They had a turnover last time it was their O. Let's see if they can put it in cleanly. Pull has gone up. It's hanging, moving to the far side of the pitch. And centred. LMU, lots of options going deep, but a nice inside cut made. Bevan, moving quickly now. DeVille with the disc. Delaveil with the disc. Inside shot. Got an option into the end zone. Bit of pressure. Reeled in really nicely.
Yeah, great work from Bevan there to... Oh, unfortunately, a pick called. A pick called, so the disc will go back. But that was a lovely play. Bevan really making sure to come down with that disc. And a very athletic defensive attempt by the Yaka player. So great to see it, but unfortunately the disc is gonna come back and they're gonna have to see if they can do something similar again.
So I think we're coming back to Shaman, so 2 passes. It's a shame because they made a lot of distance over those 2 passes. No, I think we're sitting at Weddle. So we still have that option in the end zone. Would you try and do the same thing here, or would you change it up as a receiver in the end zone?
I think they're going to have to mix it up.
Yeah, we'll change it up, go to the other side of the pitch. Oh, good pressure brought in by the Yaka player. Tinson there, generating a turn.
Very unfortunate. I think they had to go up high for that. Bevan went up high, I think, in line with the Yaka attempt at defense, but unfortunately it was just that smidge too early. There was no defensive hand to that, and it was just that little bit too early for Bevan to be able to come down with it. So disc back with Yaka, and they're now in with a chance.
Yeah, you'd say maybe she didn't quite sell her defender too much onto the open side there before going break and just didn't really get that separation. Yaka now playing out of their host stack. A little bit messy for them, but they get the disc out in the end. Looking up pitch. Cuts coming now. They've got big, deep separation, but good work on the force to stop that throw coming. Looking to swing the disc. A bit of pressure from LMU, but it's kept in nicely. Messing with the disc, and the big one goes. Weddle chasing it down. Can she get into some good position? She doesn't get up in time, and Yaka get the break back.
Yeah, that was a really nice option, really well executed, I think. They saw that the Yaka player had the line and put a great throw out. Weddle just not able to get around her. The Yaka player really using her body to maintain that space and make sure she could come down with that cleanly.
Let's have another look at that one. That was a great shot.
Yeah, you see that the Yaka player just making sure that she keeps Weddle on that outside shoulder and goes up nice and early for that disc, not really giving her a chance to get a line. Yeah. Really nicely done by
Delaval with the score.
Oh, sorry, yes.
LMU's O-line taking a moment, trying to compose themselves. We're now back on serve.
I think just in that last point also just to give a kind of a shout out to the LMU defense. Although that sort of deep throw did manage to go off in the end, I think they did a great job of containment defense, really putting a lot of pressure on the throwers and for the most part not letting those passes get out.
Indeed, Thompson now with the disc. LMU changing up the offense a little bit. Getting a little bit messy upfield, looking to receive the disc back to Thompson. Bevan with a bit of pressure, but gets it nicely. Good defensive effort. Thompson now with the disc. A strong mark there on the disc. Ooh, picked up well nicely by the LMU player there. Did a lot of work to keep that disc alive. Kowalski. LMU now trying to calm down, to swing the disc through the couple of hands a little bit. Inside shot to Thompson. Bevan at the front of the end zone. Looking to score now, pops it in. Taken really nicely. Good separation there. And held by LMU, forward with the score.
Yeah, lovely play by LMU. Really making sure that they're making sharp cuts, hitting that space. I think you really can see that's a trained offense there. That they're making space for each other, and they know what shapes they need to hit. They know how they reset. They're moving around, and you know, if an option isn't on, they're clearing out of that space, and someone else is coming in and filling that. And we're seeing that rotation and those options. If you don't like it, they clear out, and the next one comes in. So really able to take their time, and what was quite sort of a more intense point, I think. I think Yaka came out on D with a bit more fire than perhaps in the previous point. So right on the LMU shoulders for every pass, but LMU just making sure they're taking that extra second to be very decisive in their cuts, make the space, and ultimately a very clinical offense, I think, from LMU there.
I agree, and I really liked how it got a little bit messy, and the handlers took it upon themselves with the experience they have just to calm the ship a little bit and let the receivers sort themselves back out. That was a lot of very mature offense from LMU there. Let's see if Yaka can do something similar, or if we see another break. We're waiting for the pull now. And it goes up, sitting high. Looks like it's not going to quite make the brick mark. Yaka with the disc. Bit of a split look. Cuts coming into the middle of the pitch. Got a deep separation, but good work again on the force. Yaka pops it into the end zone, but a little bit too far. Deban can't reel that one in. Goes a little bit wild from Zenas.
It was a nice look. There was space. The cutter had separation. I think that's just an execution error there. Again, early in the game, first game of the day, those are sort of the things they're going to be working out, and hopefully Yaka can sort of make that adjustment sooner rather than later. But I think that was a good option.
Goes straight deep. Thompson with the disc, lots of pressure. Someone else peeling off their person. Deval with the disc. Delaval getting that D. Another shot to the end zone, another shot to the end zone, goes wild.
It's this adjustment, Yaka just pushing that little bit harder. Perhaps they haven't quite got that connection yet this morning. I know that they have it, generally. I know it's there. I'm sure they had that all day yesterday, and that's what enabled them to come away with so many decisive wins. But at the moment, they just need to readjust and recognise that those shots to the end zone, those slightly pushing shots, aren't currently working out for them. So just to readjust, recalibrate, and sort of refocus.
Thompson now centering the disc. LMU in their stride. Sharman moving the disc forward, playing all up the line the entire possession so far. Looking now maybe to center it and swing it. Looking for the option in the middle of the pitch. A little bit flustered on disc perhaps there, not able to take the option on the break side. Moving the disc forward. Big shot goes up, 2 LMU receivers, 2 defensive players from Yaka. Oh, and they pick up the trash! That's why I always send 2 runners with the disc.
Excellent work by Alpro in there, just to sort of stay out of the melee, stay out of that, the mess under the disc, and just wait for it to pop out and make sure she secured that catch for the point.
It's uncanny how often the discs get tipped by defenders and fall straight into the next receiver's hand.
It's great to be aware that that's possibly going to happen. I think a lot of people get excited about kind of going up and trying to make a play on the disc directly, but oftentimes, as Alperin did there, you can see that maybe it's more beneficial just to see how it comes out and be ready to make a play on a second chance disc.
Exactly, she did really well to keep her receiver out of it, not making it too difficult for the LMU, not having to go up against 2. Mature frisbee again. So LMU have had a different route into this game than Yaka, have they not? I believe LMU have played an additional crossover game.
Yeah, LMU have a shorter line. There are fewer players on their roster, and they had an extra game yesterday. So you would think coming into game this morning that their legs might be a little bit more tired and that we might be seeing that. But at the moment, you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it to look at them.
Exactly. Mondu fields that pull and centres it, moving through Yaka's handler's hands. Disc in the middle of the pitch now. Good separation on that undercut. This goes deep. Can it be? Oh, falls straight into the hands. That's exactly what we've not been seeing earlier. That was weighted perfectly.
Definitely a much sort of nicer connection there, able to come in with that score after a few failed attempts at a very similar look. The handler there, or the thrower, just waiting, I think, about beat longer for that cutter to make sure that they absolutely had separation and they were right, moving already into the area of the end zone that they wanted to hit, and that throw came out sort of nice and direct, straight into her hands, more or less, as she ran onto it. So I think that was an excellent play by Yaka, and hopefully that represents that sort of adjustment that perhaps they needed to make on a few of those earlier passes, and those connections can now come off for them.
Exactly, that's exactly the sort of disc you want to be getting as a receiver. That's that perfectly into her hands. Yeah,
right in stride, didn't have to slow down, was able to really keep moving into that end zone corner decisively, and the disc just comes and a comfortable catch right in front of her. Great stuff.
Do you think we're going to see the amount of pitch time start to affect this game, especially with LMU's slightly shorter roster?
I don't think so. I think it's the first game of the day. I think that everyone's sort of come in well rested, and I think LMU are experienced athletes. They know how to grit and hustle through a game. So I'm hoping that that's not going to be something that we see having too big an impact.
Tinson with the pull there. LMU moving the disc quite comfortably to the halfway line now. Bevan with the disc. Nice inside shot. There is some separation deep, but elected not to take. Back to Bevan. Getting lots and lots of calls from Yaka on the sideline. Getting quite vocal here, hammer over the top. Burbage with the disc now. Moves the good work on the force there from the Yaka player. Back to Burbage. Weddle. Looking for the end zone, go to the break side on the end zone. Oh, Bevan reels it in. That was some great vision. Knew exactly what the player wanted to do.
That was a beautiful throw by Gainey. Really love to see that sort of decision-making option. You see her look at Bevan, see that they're not going to be able to make the pass on this sort of this home sideline. That the force is there and the defense is well positioned. You see Bevan turn to make a different option for Gainey, and Gainey deliberately thought through, what's the best throw for this, and that beautiful inside-out backhand that kind of arches out and back in.
Yeah, as soon as she saw Bevan turn her shoulder there, she was straight onto that next option. Yeah. She knew exactly where she was going.
Absolutely, and I think that's the sort of play where that's a real trust play. That's players who know what they want. They know that they can put it up and that player's going to come down with it. The depth of experience and the sort of the how long these guys have been playing together was really demonstrated there, I think.
Exactly. We're now sitting at 5-4 to LMU. And a big rolly pull coming from LMU, trying to get some extra yards. Mondu picks up again in the middle of the pitch, distributes. Deep options coming, but not taken. We've got a set sag for LMU for a number of passes. Called from the sideline. Looking to force Yaka to play through the handles a bit more, maybe slow their receivers. Yaka being very watchful here. Mondu again with the disc. Not forcing anything, making sure the disc stays alive, perhaps waiting for that transition. Looks like LMU are sitting now or more in a match D. Very free on the open side there, Costello. With 2 goals already to her name. Ooh, a little bit of an unforced error there. Maybe going a little bit behind the receiver, couldn't quite stick it in the hand.
Yeah, just unfortunate execution error there, which is a shame for Yaka as they just sort of worked through that sag, and we're about to look at some match defense.
Yeah, they were just knocking on the door. Mondu there calling for a little bit louder sideline. They really want to pump up this offensive line on D. LMU moving quickly. Oh, really, really well kept up by Thompson. And she goes for the big shot. Receiver tearing away. Oh, but can't reel it in. Goes for the full extension. Put everything she can in. Polkan and can.
Yeah, amazing grab by Thompson there, and then unfortunately that throw, I think it was just a little bit too far, and it came in at an angle I think made it quite hard for that bid to kind of align with it. So unfortunate after such a great catch, but now Yaka back with the disc.
Yeah, LMU have got to go back for their sag. Again, passes being called out by the sideline. Mondu with the disc, looks for the big option. 2 receivers, 2 defenders. Can LMU get up there? Early bid, puts the receiver off, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, the LMU player, I think that's Kate Ford, went up early on that one. And the Yaka player went with her, as sort of you often feel that you need to do, but sort of managed to just fake around a bit, I think. Go up early, maybe a little bit too early, and make the disc then unplayable.
Yeah, and generate the turn with some good defense. LMU sat in their horizontal stack. Sharman with the disc now. Inside option. Didn't show Young with the disc. Swinging back to Sharman. Moving the disc quite freely between their handlers. Up the line option. Taken to Sharman after a while. Option on the sideline. Oh, really good pressure coming in from Castello. Disc goes up. 3 Yaka receivers to 1 LMU, and she reels it down. Takes it down under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, excellent play by Polican there. Unable to come down with the score at the last attempt, but secures it this time. Great work to keep her cool in a sea of Yaka defenders, and secure that catch on that point for LMU.
Yeah, she did have the height there, but I don't think I'd throw it to that coverage.
Yeah, maybe it was a slightly spicy option. It went up quite early, and I'm not sure that it was sort of clear yet how many players were moving into that space. It was quite a looping throw. You can see.
She nails the positioning on that, doesn't she?
Yeah, she absolutely does. I think from our perspective, it maybe looked like those Yaka players were a little bit closer to her on the replay. Maybe she had a bit more space than it appeared from our angle. But yeah, an excellent play by Polican, and a great point for LMU to be able to put away.
Yeah, Mondu did a good effort there, trying to put some pressure, peeling off her match, coming into support there, but couldn't do much.
The Yaka side absolutely, I think, have switched up their defense, turned up their defense rather. Definitely shoulder to shoulder. Yeah, we have a small spectator who keeps trying to make a pitch invasion, having to do a lot of focused work to keep them on the sideline. Cutest spectator here, I'm sure. But yeah, the Yaka defense really turning up their intensity and putting pressure on every single LMU pass.
Yaka now fielding the pull, sitting on the brick mark, looking to move it quickly. Again, looking to work through their hoe stack. LMU sitting with their handler sag, match mark upfield. The call coming from the sideline, 5 passes already, and we've gone back to match. Yaka at the halfway line. Nice shot onto that side. Looking to make some yards. Valet with the disc. Looking to the end zone, but nothing coming for her. Handler up the line. Look for the reset off the front of stack. Knocking on the door. Inside shot. Lots and lots of free Yaka receivers. LMU a little bit on their heels, possibly onto that break side, and the score.
Yeah, that was a nice break from the Yaka. From Yaka there, able to get the disc quickly across to that break side, which of course is the side that's sort of harder to make a defensive play on by virtue of the setup. So a very quick and decisive play there.
Exactly. Look, having a look at that now, that's a lovely weighted disc there.
Yeah,
Yaka very happy with that.
You can see the 2 Yaka players both had the same idea and managed to cut into the space, and glad to see that they were able to come down with it. Sometimes there can be a bit of confusion when you have 2 players who are very open, and neither of them end up catching it, but Yaka doing well to just secure that and then clarify afterwards.
So now we're sitting at 6-5 to LMU. LMU with their offensive line, waiting for the pull from Yaka. Slowly vacating the pitch. Small breather in quite an intense game so far. The pull goes up. Looks like it's hanging nicely. LMU fielding almost against the set defense. Forced right on the disc there. Up for the break up the line. Well kept in by Sharman. Back into the middle of the pitch. Big disc goes up. Can Thompson reel it in? Lots of pressure, but takes it. Tumble for good measure. Did a lot of good work there against quite a lot of pressure. Looks like it was coming over her head and over the defender.
Yeah, Thompson read that really well. Knew exactly where she needed to be to have the exact line on it and the best play on it. The Yaka defenders putting a lot of pressure on, but yeah, just not able to get their hand to the disc before Thompson secured it. Excellent play from Thompson there to make sure that came down.
Really well done. Never took her eyes off the disc there, despite red shirts flying in division.
That's Jenna Thompson for you. Laser-like focus.
Knows what matters.
An interesting shot from Kolikovska. I'm not sure what it would have looked like from her position on field. From where we are, it did look like from sort of when the throw went up that Jenna Thompson had 2 defenders with her. Of course, it is Jenna Thompson, so perhaps that's the decision making. That was the influence the decision making.
Only 2 defenders. She can take it.
Yeah, I like her odds. But yeah, that was perhaps a slightly more aggressive play than was necessary. But it got them the score, so here we are.
Yaka on offense, currently 2 points down, looking to put their row in and generate a turn later in the game. A bit of a split stack look from Yaka. Disc makes its way into the break side. Disc goes deep. Can she reel it? Oh, very nicely. Very, very nicely. That was a lovely weighted pass, back middle of the end zone. Receiver didn't have to do huge amounts of work to take that.
That was a lovely throw, really well weighted. Passed into the space, really made sure that it went through right to the very end of the end zone, so that Yaka defender, Yaka offensive player could run it down and make sure that they were able to receive that in front of them and nowhere near the LMU player that was on their tail. So really lovely offensive play by Yaka there.
Yeah, that was a lovely passage of play. 2 passes, break onto the break side, big disc goes. Lots of separation for the receiver. Both teams are utilising their deep game really quite well in this game so far.
Nice to see that coming off for Yaka. I think they've had a few nice shots, but there have also been a few deep shots that haven't worked out for them. So I think those connections are something that are really going to put LMU under threat, making sure that they know that they're going to have to cover deep and under, take all those threats very seriously.
Yaka now trying to get that break to bring this game back onto an even keel for them. LMU centres the disc. Moving through the handlers. Young with the disc. Goes big straight away. Falling a little bit short. Yaka get the bodies under it and generate a turn. This is exactly what they wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. Just not able to get that throw out in front, unfortunately.
Mondo picking up and distributing the disc into the middle of the pitch. Lots of cuts coming from Yaka. Separation under to safe hands. Yaka moving quickly now. Good footwork to keep that disc in by Baz. We have a call. A call swiftly retracted perhaps. So a short pause, halting Yaka's march. Looking to reset the disc. Centres. Distributes onto the break side. Yaka now looking at the end zone. Bit of confusion from the receivers. Mondu getting free. Can we generate? Oh! Up the line, maybe gets a little bit in the channel. Makes it a bit tricky for themselves, Yaka. And a turn. Kowski with the disc. Lots and lots of noise from the Yaka sideline. Adding pressure to the game. Pick called in the middle field. Yaka player just allowed to set her force. LMU maybe looking to the end zone at this distance. Moves between the handlers. Good under separation. Straight to the end zone. Yaka gets a better read on it. Disc falls a bit short.
Yeah, Yaka turning on the jets there, just really nicely reading that disc and increasing their speed to make sure they get that defense. Nice work.
Polican pulling off her match really well, getting in the channel, making it a bit tricky. Yaka opt to swing to the other side of the pitch. Get the shot into the middle now. Lots of separation there on that. Mondu with the disc going to ground to make sure. Safe hands. Looking to make something happen. Finds the inside shot. Looks to the end zone. Lots and lots of space there for Yaka. That's what they wanted to see.
Yeah, great work from Castillo, who I think nicely found the space at that point, cut into the middle, gave an option where perhaps Yaka were lacking one, and then nice and calm as she turns to look towards the end zone for the score.
Ondu very calm on disc. We're sitting on Galaxy Point. Due to the format of this tournament, we don't have a conventional half-time. We don't swap ends, we play straight through. But this is a very tight game so far. 7-7, even keel. Yaka able to get that break back. Both teams taking a slight moment on the line. This is an important stage of the game. Pull goes up, hanging nicely, giving Yaka time to set the defence. Fielded and centred by LMU. Bit of a handler sag set. Match mark upfield. There's a free LMU receiver. Handlers don't quite spot it. Moving up the line quite comfortably, however. Back to Thompson. McCool's moving the disc forward. Bevan with it now. Inside shot. Oh, Yaka almost get a hand on that. Burbage is safe. Looking forward, got an option on the break side, wasn't taken. LMU just calming now, letting their receivers get ahead. Oh, tries to make something happen. Does Weddle, but doesn't work for her. Turn.
Yeah, pushing a little bit hard there, I think. Definitely a lot of pressure from the Yaka defense. LMU doing well to work it up, but just not able to kind of keep their calm on that last throw.
Nice pop onto the break side there from Yaka. Weddle working hard to stop the continuation. Again. Carbon copy, pop onto the break side. Yaka working well, back into the middle of the pitch now. Distributes to the handler. Claire with the disc. Things calming down just a touch now. Yaka moving the disc between the hands. Timeout called. So that's quite a good timeout call. Momentum had just fallen out of that point a little bit. Take time to set yourself. This is a good position to run a set play, especially as a D-line.
Yeah, I think that's a great call from Yaka there. I think that they're really seeing that they need to be putting this point in. And regaining momentum. I think at the moment LMU have done an amazing job to put pressure under Yaka, and I think it's really worth noting that LMU were seeded quite low at the beginning of this tournament, and I think looking at how they've done and sort of the fact they've upset the seeds so significantly, I know that Yaka know this team and that they will come into this game taking it very seriously, knowing that they're going to be a great competitor and it's going to be a really contested game. But LMU doing an amazing job here against Yaka, who are the won European Championships here last year. So this is the European team to beat, under a lot of pressure here from this LMU side. So Yaka definitely having a discussion about what can we control. Let's try and get this game back within our grasp, like within our at the pace we want to play and at the way we want to play. And LMU are going to do their best to try and disrupt that. But a really amazing show here. Such a tight game, really athletic game. An amazing demonstration of women's ultimate.
I couldn't agree more. I think you also summed it up very nicely, that I think conversations in this timeout are going to be about control. Control what you can. Don't give the disc away, because the opposition are going to come and take it. So you need to keep control where you can. Yaka is set. What looks like a conventional horizontal stack. LMU taking their time. Changing some matchups. Looking like they're going to sit a little bit deep of this hoe. Stop that easy deep game. A sag on the handlers. Ford going deep to make sure there's no easy deep pass. Bevan covering a couple of options under. This is exactly how I like to see, especially from a static start, horizontal matched. Take away their deep game consciously. Only needs to be for 1 or 2 passes. Force Yaka to play through the handlers and not have a static start. Call to match now from LMU. Disc goes over the top, Thompson makes sure.
Yeah, great job from Jenna Thompson there, making sure to come down with that one just after a missed throw from Yaka.
And that's exactly what we were talking about. LMU did all they could to control that offense and generated a turn. Thompson with a disc now, goes big. Bit of miscommunication though. I don't know who she saw, but the only person there's a Yaka player.
Yeah, unfortunately they had two black shirts who were sort of taking that line and looking like they were going to go deep, but both came under just at that pivotal moment. Unfortunate for LMU there, but Yaka now back with the disc and with a chance for this point.
Two options coming onto the open side for Yaka. Disc sitting with KR. Pop onto the break side. Distributed, continue moving onto that side of the pitch. Looks for the deep option, but covered by the force. This straight up force from LMU is doing really, really well at trying to stifle that quick, deep game. KR with the disc again. Bit of a tumble in the field there, but covering back up. Not happening very quickly. Good switches called by LMU. Thompson marshalling. Yaka looking to make something happen. Find the inside shot. Claim every other disc moving through her hands. Looking towards the end zone. This is some really good defense from LMU.
Yeah, amazing defense from LMU.
Option coming on the open side. Bit of separation. Just as we say it. Jinx them.
Amazing defense maybe up until those last few moments, but LMU doing an amazing job of containing Yaka and taking away their options. I think this isn't the sort of the Yaka that we're used to seeing. They're sort of looking like they're quite stifled by LMU. So perhaps LMU take Yaka getting the point there, but having to really fight for it. So they'll be very happy to have put that in, but perhaps that's still that discussion around how they can take control of the game and set the pace and play the game that they want to be playing.
So just having a look at this replay there. Not quite seeing that, seeing the hockey pass from Mondu. Yeah, Yaka have the caliber to be really pushed for most of that point, but keep calm, keep control, and put the point in at the end where it matters.
Definitely very calm decision making there from Yaka and able to work that up after that initial turn. I think it's worth shouting out to the LMU defense off of that timeout call. They set up against that horizontal stack perfectly, took away all of their initial options, kept the pressure on, and eventually got the turn. Of course, it ended up turning back on a miscommunication, and Yaka then played it out nicely from there, but an excellent defensive effort from LMU.
So that's kind of changed the game a little bit now. Yaka with 2 breaks on the trot, now sitting ahead, 8-7 to Yaka. LMU fielding the pull, moving the disc forward, sitting at the halfway line already. Got separation deep, but not taken. Kulikowski with the disc. Pops it back. Looking for the end zone, nothing there. Swings the disc to Hang. Now knocking on the door. Puts it in the back corner. Oh, a bit of a fumble. Wind has just started to pick up a little bit. It held that disc a touch. Looks like the receiver was caught a little bit unawares, just in the fingertips, and tumbled out.
I think that might have been just a little bit of lack of focus from the receiver there. Polly Can making a great cut, getting free, and she had it in her fingertips, but just instead of sort of securing it, it managed to pop out. So I think perhaps that was just something, just took her eye off the prize for that second, and unfortunately it hasn't worked out for her.
So Mondu picks up the disc in quite a tricky position, but successfully distributes it to the middle field. Handler's moving it, looking for the deep shot, but nothing coming. Yaka just calming down a touch. Another break at this stage of the game would be really crucial for them. Up the line. Baz with the disc. Goes big. Falls a bit short. LMU get there. Polican with the disc, with the turn there. There's a good look onto the break side. But as we just mentioned, the wind has started to pick up, and it may have just hung a little bit longer than intended.
I think that was nice vision from Bass there. I think the throw was just unable to get that little bit further out and around the defender, who read that perfectly. Really great defensive effort there from LMU.
Now LMU trying to put this hold in. Back on their end zone line, playing their host stack. Disc moving quite freely between the handler's hands. Yaka working hard to sag in the channels, make sure there's no forward movement. LMU have not moved forward, but they've not moved backwards yet. Kolokovsky with the disc on the far side. Moves the disc back. Bit of pressure from Mondu, but can't generate a turn there. Things are looking a bit less comfortable for LMU. Centres the disc, hung with the disc in the middle. Moving between the handlers, Kolokovsky in them again. Moving forward, now we've started to move. Option, first option upfield. Man called from Yaka. Option in the end zone. Paula Can opts to dump. Back into the middle. Kolokovsky with the disc. Onto the far side of the pitch. Disc moving very freely from sideline to sideline from LMU. A moment of calm again. As LMU look to get moving again. Disc moves up the line. Kwiatkowski looking forward. Kwiatkowski, apologies. Disc onto the break side. Lovely disc. That's how you throw a receiver three. No chance the defence had there.
Yeah, that was a difficult pass. Those ones that go directly overhead are challenging to get right on the throw, and also really difficult to read and pull down as a receiver. And Dinsdale Young doing really well to make sure that she chased that down and caught that one. The Yaka defence there stifling LMU on their own end zone line, really making them work to move it around the back and to find those options. LMU then demonstrating, I think, their calm experience, the depth of their play, just taking their time, moving the disc. I don't know how many passes that they made, but that was the disc moved through so many people's hands and just very calmly moving along the back, finding those gaps in the middle or along the sideline where they can, but really taking their time, not being flustered by Yaka's defense. So just a great defensive point from Yaka, putting a lot of pressure on LMU. LMU rising to the occasion, absolutely meeting Yaka's challenge, calmly moving it up and coming away with the score.
Yeah, and we spoke about it a little bit earlier, but LMU's very mature offense. They move fast, and when things get a little bit hectic, the handlers take it upon themselves, just move it through the hands a couple of times, nice and easily, and slow the game back down.
Well, this is of course London Masters team, so I think maturity is what they're all about.
Yaka now with the disc. Just ahead of their brick mark. Tisson looking to distribute. Options not coming too easily for her. Oh, and it goes a little bit wild. Claire does a fantastic job to try and reel that in. That was fantastic.
Oh, an injury called there. I think great effort to try and come down with that disc, but unfortunately I think she might have landed a little bit heavier than would have been ideal.
She did get some height, but I really hope she's okay.
Yeah, huge effort. And then just sort of came down a little bit harder. Yaka just coming in a little hot there, just putting a little bit too much sauce on that pass. And they'll be disappointed with that, because that's sort of not the sort of mistake they need to be turning. That maybe it was a slightly higher stall count on the throw, but that receiver I think was reasonably open. So I think that is just an execution error, and they just need to sort of refocus up, not let LMU's calmness rile them up.
Yeah, they're so calm, I'm so mad.
Very provocative calmness, I think, that we're seeing.
I think that's some very, very good team defence from LMU. Some good work in the middle field, stopping the easy options. Force them to take a bit of a wilder one. And put the odds in your favour.
Lots of space here for LMU.
LMU setting with Weddle isolated. She gets it in the end, distributes to Thompson. Onto the break side, very poppy pass, safe hands, kept up. Pick has been called. Forward with the disc.
Excellent save there by Ford. That disc came in really low, and she just managed to get her hand underneath it and make a nice clean catch, putting her body on the floor.
So we're coming back, still counts on 2. There's a bit of conversation between the throw and the force. Can be very wide on the inside shot as a force here. But Ford looks back, Thompson. Weddle getting on free off the front. Bit of pressure coming from Yaka in the end. Sees the corner.
Weddle's unhappy with that one. She'll be disappointed with herself.
Overthrows it a touch, but that was a really, really good option. Just needed to sit a little bit longer for her.
LMU having to be really decisive there. Every single pass that was received, the Yaka defense was right on them. Really small windows, and having all the throws having to be executed absolutely perfectly. Yaka putting a lot of defensive pressure on LMU, and now in with a chance for a score of their own.
So LMU's opportunity for a break ahead's gone. Yaka now trying to hold. The game's currently 8-8, all even. Very tight contest so far. Yaka moving the disc between the handlers. Yard gain from Conway. Valo with the disc. Little bit of pressure again coming from LMU, generating a turn.
Massive pressure from Sharman now on the force, really not giving that Yaka player much option. Each time she sort of looked and we could see an open player coming in, that the force adjusted and took that away. So a really great turn there off of that defensive effort.
So LMU another opportunity to get a break up. Bevan really free. Yaka defender pulling off but still couldn't stop it. Thompson, safe hands. Had to do a little bit of work to keep that one alive. Looking to a reset. Lots and lots of space for LMU to work with here. Setting quite a deep stack. Really working to play the unders. Bevan goes deep. Can she get there? Oh, fantastic D! Really, really good work from Toussaint there.
Yeah, excellent read from Toussaint, able to get underneath that and just make sure that she had that. She had her hand on the disc first and was able to tip that over Bevan's head. Great read and great play there.
Yeah, she took a fantastic line to that disc. No messing about, knew exactly where she wanted to intercept it. Generates a turn.
I think that's what we're talking about. Those windows are so small. You know, for Bevan to get that disc, it really needed to be exactly executed. And I think the disc was where it needed to be, but Yaka are there and they're pressuring it and they're not going to give LMU anything.
Toussaint now with the disc. After generating that turn, Yaka with another opportunity to keep their hold. Bit of confusion in the middle field. Free receiver. Zenz with the disc. Back to Toussaint. Lots of input on this passage of play so far. Ooh, tries to get the breakout, but oversnaps it just a touch. Goes behind the receiver. Maybe a moment for a timeout, perhaps, from LMU. Need to make sure this disc goes in.
I think they'll want to keep the momentum.
Thompson in the middle. Weddle free. Onto the break side. Looking deep, but the no cuts developed for her. Maybe some tired legs now. This has been a long point so far. Looking for the reset, but nothing there. Thompson gets free. Bevan again. Toussaint, Bevan. Toussaint wins again. That throw a little bit less fortuitous. Bit easier for Toussaint.
I think that option went up a little bit too late. They were already quite deep in the end zone and there wasn't space for Thompson to put that disc out in front and really make sure that she was able to get that round the defender.
Yaka now, again, trying to put this point in. Conway moving the disc forward. Kessel goes big, it's hanging. Good footwork, Yaka put it in. Delaval with the score.
Delaval doing a really great job there of being aware of where the sideline was, chasing it down and making sure that she had that play, but also just keeping her toes in the line and making sure that that's in and that's counted for Yaka. Great job there.
So that brings Yaka ahead. Been a tight game so far. LMU have kept their nose up in front until this moment. Are we seeing the game shift a little bit? Do you think LMU can pull it back?
Absolutely. I think this is anyone's game. I'm loving watching this game. I think we're seeing so much really interesting play and real intensity from both sides. The defensive pressure from both sides is unreal, and that's really making the teams have to work and think on offense. A lot of maybe sort of execution errors are coming out off the back of that. We're seeing a few of the turnovers just being miscalculations, discs behind players, or perhaps not quite in the windows, but that's because the windows are so small, and that's really a testament to the defense that both teams are playing. Yeah,
team defense, keep the windows small, force errors. It's good team defense.
Yeah, and we have to remember that both of these teams are sort of in the process of building up to significant international tournaments. Yaka heading to Cincinnati for Club Worlds, and LMU heading to Limerick for Masters Club Worlds. So both of them are really looking to use this experience to gain their connections, to work hard, and to figure out where their strengths and where maybe they need to work. So such a useful game for that.
So LMU now with the disc, trying to put this hold in. Oh, fantastic bit of pressure coming through, but LMU retain the disc. Polocan with the disc. Mondo communicating with the sideline. Sag set, can't stop it, comes through. Toussaint wins that one. having a big impact on this game now as we get into our second half.
Yeah, Tisson really showing her athletic ability, her ability to just increase her speed and get a read on
she's going to put the assist in as well? And she does!
Yeah, absolutely. Tisson displaying her athletic ability as well as her skill there. Really a big game for her. She's been really pivotal in the defensive effort. And as we see there, she's great on both sides of the disc.
Exactly. That one's going to hurt a little bit from LMU. That went wrong quickly, but they didn't have much time to recover it.
Yeah, LMU are really going to have to make sure that they're not going to let Yaka kind of slip away here. They've kept the pressure up the whole way through the game. It's still very much in their hands. We've seen them respond to the Yaka defense. We've seen them respond to that pressure of the Yaka defense. Now there's 5 minutes left in the game, as you can hear from the music playing. And these last 5 minutes, you know, there's 2 points in it. It's doable, but the LMU are really going to have to make sure that they're gritting and grinding it out if they want to get the win for this game.
Yes, they do, and they need to put this one in, and dare I say they need to put this one in quickly. Yeah,
certainly. And Yaka, of course, are going to do everything they can to make sure that doesn't happen. Finally a little bit more in the driving seat of this game.
Tisson with the pull, sitting it out there nicely. Thompson looking to field. Centres the disc forward. Bit of a call in the middle field. I think just honest knocking. Uncontested foul. Disc coming in on 1. Time slipping away here. LMU not a fantastic static start here. Lots of players all over the open side. Get the disc out onto the break side. Weddle takes the disc under a lot of pressure. Goes deep. Can it be reeled in? Falls a bit short, but fantastic work done by the receiver there. Looking to the end zone. Holstered. Now sitting in front there. Gainey with the disc. Call. Looks like it was a disc space call. Not surprised. Lots of pressure coming really quickly there. Forces do tend to get a little bit close. I know I'm guilty of it.
Yeah, there's a little bit of sort of franticness. You can feel this energy, this excitement on field.
So now, disc back in play. Gainey looking to reset the disc. Thompson can't get free. Marked out by Toussaint. Finally gets it. Toussaint looks away. Gainey sees the gap. Thompson with the disc. Pops into the break side. We've seen that throw utilised very well by both sides so far. That poppy backhand onto the break side.
Amazing
Thompson.
snag by Weddle there.
Thompson right in front of the end zone now we have. Gainey with the disc. And Weddle.
Weddle with the score. There's that reasonably quick point that you said that they needed, and LMU obviously agreed, decided to go out there and do it. So now 10-9 to Yaka. Only a few minutes left of the game. LMU really going to have to pull out a big point here, a big defensive point if they want to get the turn and have a chance with evening this game up.
So a reminder of the rules yesterday for pool play. We were allowed draws, but in the power pools we do need a result. So we have soft cap once time is called, I do believe. So LMU really want to make sure they keep Yaka, at least keep Yaka on the pitch as long as possible, trying to put this point in and give themselves a chance. So I think we might see maybe another saggy set, make them swing it a lot, don't give them easy upfield options, and make sure that deep shot doesn't go.
Absolutely. The sagging defense has been working out really well for both teams, actually. I think they've sort of both had a similar defensive look that they've tried at some point in this game, and it's been quite effective at containing options. So it'd be interesting to see the decision that LMU make here to see if they can get the turn.
So the pull goes up, Yaka taking a moment just to compose himself. Pull hanging, but a little short, not quite at the brick mark. Mondu picks up the disc. One of the key distributors of the disc from Yaka. And we are seeing that sag set. We're seeing a lot of Yaka receivers go deep, now coming under. Over the halfway line now for Yaka, making yards quite quickly. Another free open pass. Centered. Looking to the end zone. Nothing quite coming through just yet. Looks to reset. Little bit of work needed there by the Yaka receiver. But Castello gets free. Yaka now moving quite comfortably. Bars with the disc. Looking for that inside shot. Really wants to get the flick out. Swings not quite there, goes for the big deep option and picked up by LMU. Oh, we're playing from the back of the end zone. Oh, this has got very exciting awfully quickly. LMU just keep the disc alive. Got one receiver going deep, everyone else behind. LMU just need to calm it down again as they've been doing so well. Handlers take a breath. Thompson with the disc now. They have got separation deep and they go for it. Another Yaka receiver coming in, but it's made sure.
Wow. Amazing, amazing, amazing point by LMU. They're so calm on the disc, so calm on the defense, really. That defense was so tight and smothering. And then, yeah, just they get the turn, not bothered taking it from basically the back of the end zone, working it up and not afraid to take those shots. And that was just beautiful to watch and takes us to 10-10.
So I think we've had the time call after the point was scored. So we play this point and then see where we are. I think we'd have 2 bites at Universe here.
Wow, very exciting, and it's a great, exciting end that we're going to be looking at. You know, it's been such a tight game. The teams have been working so hard for every point. It always feels very fitting when you end up on a sort of a tied score, and for a very exciting conclusion, whichever way it goes.
Oh yeah, and it demonstrates just how tight this game has been. I think it's a very fair result. Teams have had moments of dominance, but the opposition has always come back. 10-10. LMU taking a moment, calming themselves. Yaka are ready, waiting. I imagine they're going to want to put this one in nice and quickly. I don't see a big change from the defense from LMU here.
Yaka coming into this game with a lot of respect for LMU. As we've said, they know these players and they've played against these players, but LMU doing an incredible job here against the European champions and some of the, you know, coming from lower in the seeds and creating a very competitive game for us this morning.
Tucson with the disc in the middle of the pitch. We're seeing that sag defense again. LMU sitting a little bit deeper their receivers, making sure no big option comes. Straight up force. Little bit of work needed there from Messel, but keeps the disc alive. We've called the match call. There's a pick called in the middle of the pitch. Lots of cuts developing there for Delaval, but a pick stops the flow. Another pick.
It's how tight these guys are playing. You know, they're right on their shoulder. They're all trying to make cuts, and these picks often do happen at these crunch times when everything tightens up.
Kept alive. Nice to see Claire back on the pitch after that little knock she took. Tucson with the disc. Delaval distributing back to Tucson. Double coverage from LMU. There's 3 in the corner. They've missed it. They've missed the switch.
Oh, very unfortunate for LMU. They're just issuing communication. Yaka able to get that score. You can see they're very, very happy about that. Very happy to be able to bring that down. That's Yaka with the score for the win. That's the end of the game.
Yeah, we're sitting on that one. That was a fantastic game. Really good bit of double team defense from LMU, pulling off, double marking that person, but then they both left the space. Bit of miscommunication.
Such an unfortunate turn. I know LMU will be a bit frustrated on that one. You know, they were working so hard and they've done such a good job throughout the game, and just I think that intensity sometimes can give you a little bit of some tunnel vision, and Yaka doing really well to sneak off and maximize that and have an incredibly safe final point for this really exciting game, really contested game.
So the first game of their Powerpool. And I do have a good feeling we're going to see at least one of these teams again later in the tournament. Yaka looking dominant, but LMU really keeping with them.
Yeah, LMU doing an amazing job, as we've sort of mentioned a couple of times, coming from lower in the season. And I do think, you know, it's a team that you never really know what to expect with them. We know they're a smaller squad, but doing an incredible job of bringing this really competitive game to the European champions and making them really fight up until that last point. Both teams will be coming away with lots of lessons that they can take forward, particularly as they move into their seasons in preparation for these big international tournaments. But such a delight to watch. Really brilliant women's ultimate demonstrated here. Massive competition, athleticness, and skill, and it's just been a pleasure to watch.
Agreed. Well, thank you very much. I've been Michael Paul.
I've been Rachel Douglas.
And we'll see you in the next game, which is Chevron versus Bora in the men's division.
Hey, my name is Milan. I'm on my way to Poland to film EMUC with Double C. I'm doing operations, driving the kids to the locations. I'm doing financial stuff. I'm doing editing, producing live productions as well for you. And with your help, we can do a better job at delegating, maybe. Or we can do a better job at providing more fields, so having more coverage. Having a person run around and film the most exciting games at each event next to the live stream. We can do that because of your help on Patreon. Get on board. Thank you.
Vielen Dank.
Thank
Merci beaucoup.
Alti.tv